Then we line our paint tray with a plastic bag and mix our glaze. We will be measuring out 6 parts glaze to 1 part paint. Now if we see we need more open time, we can always add 1 part glycerin. We then load our palette with our mixed glaze color. For this finish, we've loaded our palette with 5 colors. We then take our palette and press it onto the wall a couple of times, or just once if we tend to pounce slowly. We leave about 2 to 3 inches in between, but if we want a darker finish with more texture, we would place them closer together. Then we begin to pounce out our colors with the poofy pad, blending our sections together. We don't pounce stiffly, but confidently, twisting our wrists slightly. We can press our poofy pad onto the palette lightly to get more glaze if we need to. When we do that, we take care to press it into more than one color also, since we are faux painting with more than one. We take care to leave a ragged edge also, softly blending out the edges. This will diminish the look of lap lines or seams. The more we pounce out our colors, the softer our finish will look. But we are careful not to overwork our section. Here on our wall, after we taped off our ceilings and edges, we begin by pressing our chip brush lightly into a few colors, and we begin to pounce out our glaze along the edge of the tape. We do a section of about 12 inches on both the top and sides. Then we press our palette onto the wall once or twice and begin to pounce out our colors, blending them into the area we did with our chip brush. We remember not to pounce in a stiff manner. We also remember not to leave a straight edge. But with the tip of the poofy pad, we soften the edges, leaving a ragged edge. We quickly blend the section into the area we pounce with our chip brush too. We continue to add another section along the edge with our chip brush, and then, leaving about 2 to 3 inches, we press our palette again, either once or twice, and continue to pounce out our colors, blending them into the wet section we just did. As long as our section is very wet, we don't have to softly blend the edges together because they will mix naturally without leaving lap lines. With each section we do, we remember to leave our edges soft and ragged if we will not be pouncing another section to it right away. When we see that there is a small space to fill in, we will press our palette only one time so we don't have too much glaze to pounce out. Again, if the section that we are going to blend into is already dried, we can use the tip of our poofy pad to softly blend it, taking care not to overlap too much. When we near the bottom, we don't press our palette onto the wall, but just press our poofy pad onto the palette in a few of the colors to get just enough to fill the area. We take our chip brush and dab it lightly into a couple of the colors to pounce our glaze into the tape along our baseboard. Here we have loaded our palette with only one color. Again, we use our chip brush to pounce our color along our crown molding. Then we press our palette twice onto the wall and begin to pounce out our color, blending it into the section we did with our chip brush. We press our palette again, about 2 to 3 inches away from the previous section, and pounce out our color, leaving another shape, connecting it to the other. Again, remembering to leave a ragged, soft edge. We softly blend out our edges, keeping them ragged. Our shape is irregular too, like the shape of an island, so the edges are not straight. Then, leaving around 18 to 24 inches of space, we proceed to press our palette again and make another shape different than the other, remembering always to keep a ragged edge, and we continue to repeat this across the wall. We can connect some of the sections together if we like. The shapes don't have to be the same size nor look the same, as long as we remember to keep our shapes irregular. Here's what our wall looks like when we are done with this step. Notice that the spaces in between the shapes vary in size too. Then we take our poofy pad and press it into our palette and begin to pounce out our color into the negative areas left on our wall. We don't need to press very hard if we see that our space is small, so we don't get too much glaze. We softly blend the glaze into the edge of the previous layer, trying not to overlap too much. Again, we don't press the palette onto the wall if we have a small space, but press the poofy pad onto the palette lightly to get just enough glaze to pounce out the negative area we have. On this wall, since we were using more than one color, we pressed it into a couple of the colors. We can use the tip of the poofy pad, but we don't want to leave too much of our base coat showing through. If we see that we have too much base coat showing or we missed a spot, we can use our chip brush to lightly add some glaze with it. Here's our finished wall. Now we can add more dimension by adding darker hues. If we see some seams or lap lines that are too dark, we can use them to add our darker hues to the wall. But we don't overlap their edges, but instead lightly butt up next to them. We work off their shapes, keeping the edges of them soft too. We don't press the poofy pad too deep into the palette, but lightly dab it to get just a little bit of glaze. Remember that they will darken as they dry, so we keep them light. We can see that they add more interest to our walls too. In addition, they minimize the look of any dark lap line or seam. Color washing a wall makes it the perfect backdrop for hand painting borders or adding stencils. Order your DVD faux painting kit with 5 tools and get a free color suggestion ebook emailed to you when you order. Order now because it's for a limited time only. Visit muralsandfauxpainting.com where you can learn all about faux painting and to buy your Triple S faux system and other great faux painting tools. With a Triple S faux painting system, faux painting just got easier.